US airports don't match up to international competition. Thank you for joining us for another Bank of Cardiff newscast. If you are one of the millions of Americans who traveled by plane over the Thanksgiving break, perhaps heading home for a family gathering, you may also be among the most disgruntled air travelers in the world. The fact is, the US airports are lagging way behind other countries in the world rankings, losing out to their Asian counterparts as well as some European hubs. For the past 3 years, Singapore's elegant Changi Airport has claimed the top spot in consultancy group's Skytrax list, which surveys 13 million passengers for their opinions. As well as being one of the world's busiest, Changi is also one of its most appreciated, featuring Zen-inspired butterfly, orchid and cactus gardens where travelers can relax before their flight. It's not the only airport focused on exceeding passengers' expectations. South Korea's Incheon boasts an ice skating rink and a golf driving range, while Hong Kong and Tokyo also appear in the top 5. So, is the US falling behind? Well, Cincinnati, northern Kentucky is the US's highest-ranked airport, trailing in at a disappointing 30th position, with only San Francisco and Atlanta joining them in the top 50. Last year, The Economist estimated that 67% of passengers flying out of America arrived at a better airport than that from which they departed, while Bloomberg launched an airport frustration index to chart, quote, the most irritating place to catch a plane in the US and Canada. So what's gone wrong? Even the most cursory glance at online blogs and features on the subject reveals general exasperation with US airports, ranging from overcrowded terminals to invasive and repetitive security checks. Connections from overseas are often cumbersome and time-consuming. New York's LaGuardia Airport is often singled out as the country's top offender, currently holding pole position on the Bloomberg Index with a resounding 91-point unsatisfaction rate. Its age may be a factor. LaGuardia was pressed into service in 1929 and is to be completely overhauled by 2021. New York's Newark and JFK airports are also the cause of much frustration, according to the index, with 1 in 4 flights at a New York City airport delayed, according to Global Gateway Alliance. But many of America's other major airports come in for scathing criticism from passengers, including LAX, Atlanta, the biggest airport in the world, Washington, Dulles, which was built as a temporary facility 40 years ago and is showing its age. So how do we move forward? Kevin Burke, from the North American president of Airports Council International, ACI, accepts that U.S. airports have an image problem. He tells us, we are the leaders in aviation and have some of the safest airports in the world, but we've also got some of the oldest, which are expensive to maintain. The average U.S. airport is 40 years old, and when our youngest hub airport, Denver, has just turned 20, infrastructure needs to be better. He says development is predominantly managed by cities, regions, and local government, and there's a whole slew of restrictions on how projects can be financed. There have been some advances in recent years, particularly in fast-tracking passengers through security as part of a pre-check program, but many problems relate to aging infrastructure and inadequate transport links. More finance for improvements could be raised via an increase in the passenger facility charge, but the domestic airline industry is against a change. In the meantime, air traffic will continue to rise together with the inevitable complaints. Join us later this week for another Bank of Cardiff newscast. And remember that all of our newscasts are available on our website, bankofcardiff.com/newscasts.